The gateway between worlds. Welcome. Pause for a moment. Close your eyes if you wish, though you need not. Right now, in this very instant, your mind is capable of something extraordinary. Every single night without fail, your consciousness embarks on journeys that defy the laws of physics, transcend time, and create entire universes from nothing but thought and memory. You have always possessed this ability. You have always been a creator, a director, an architect of impossible worlds. Yet most of us experience these nocturnal adventures as passive observers, watching our own stories unfold without influence, without agency, without the understanding that we could reach out and reshape everything we encounter. Tonight, we begin to change that relationship with your sleeping mind, not through force, not through complicated techniques or mystical rituals, but through understanding, patience, and a gentle reconnection with something that is fundamentally natural to being human. Lucid dreaming is not a supernatural ability reserved for the gifted few. It is not something that requires years of meditation in distant monasteries or secret knowledge passed down through generations. Rather, it represents the simple, profound act of becoming conscious within your own dream, of recognizing that you are dreaming while the dream is still unfolding around you. Imagine this, a space where your thoughts instantly become reality, where you can fly not by understanding aerodynamics, but by believing in flight itself, where you can speak with anyone, real or imagined, and have genuine conversations that feel as real as waking dialogue, where your deepest fears can be transformed into adventures, where nightmares become explorations, and where the impossible becomes merely another texture of experience. This is not fantasy. This is not reserved for the imagination of fiction writers. This is the natural capacity of your own mind, waiting patiently for you to recognize it and engage with it consciously. The journey we are about to take together spans multiple dimensions of understanding. We will explore the biological science of sleep, the specific patterns your brain follows as it cycles through different states of consciousness. We will learn to recognize the subtle signals that announce we are dreaming, those little inconsistencies and impossibilities that our sleeping mind usually overlooks, but that we can train ourselves to notice. We will practice techniques to maintain consciousness as we cross the threshold from wakefulness into sleep, that delicate transition where the external world fades and the internal universe expands infinitely. Before we begin this exploration, I invite you to engage with this experience fully. Subscribe to the Relaxing Science channel so that you receive future journeys like this one, guiding you deeper into the mysteries of consciousness, sleep, and the mind's extraordinary capacities. Give this video a like, not as a simple gesture, but as a marker of your intention to explore this territory. And in the comments below, share your location and the current time where you are. This simple act connects us across space and time, reminding us that while we each dream alone, we are all part of a global community of minds exploring inner space. The practice of lucid dreaming offers far more than entertainment, though entertainment is certainly part of its joy. When you become conscious within your dreams, you access a laboratory for self-discovery. You can confront fears that have shaped your waking life and transform them through direct experience. You can explore aspects of your personality that remain hidden during daylight hours. You can practice skills, solve problems, and access creative insights that your logical waking mind struggles to reach. You can experience profound states of peace and expansion that rival meditation in their depth and transformative potential. Throughout history, across cultures separated by continents and centuries, humans have recognized the significance of lucid dreaming. Ancient philosophers wrote about it. Indigenous cultures incorporated it into spiritual practices. Modern neuroscientists have now begun to map the brain states associated with lucid dreaming, confirming what dreamers have long known, that consciousness can indeed persist and even deepen during sleep. What was once dismissed as impossible or relegated to the realm of fantasy has now been validated by rigorous scientific investigation. The evidence is clear. Lucid dreaming is real. It is learnable, and it is accessible to you. This particular journey we share tonight will unfold across multiple perspectives. We will examine the mechanics of sleep from a scientific standpoint, understanding the rhythms and cycles that govern your nightly rest. We will develop practical skills, concrete exercises, that you can begin applying immediately to increase the likelihood of becoming conscious in your dreams. We will explore the philosophy of what it means to be conscious, to be aware, to be present. We will discuss the ethics of dream exploration and the responsibility that comes with becoming the director of your own inner experiences. The path forward requires nothing except your openness and your willingness to engage with your own consciousness, with curiosity rather than judgment. You do not need special equipment. You do not need to change your sleep schedule dramatically. You do not need to believe in anything beyond your own capacity to be aware. What you do need is intention. You need the simple, clear desire to become conscious within your dreams. You need consistency, a willingness to practice these techniques repeatedly until they become second nature. And you need patience, the understanding that this skill develops gradually, that small successes build upon one another, and that each attempt teaches your mind something valuable about how to maintain consciousness across different states. As we move through this exploration together, you will notice that each section builds upon the previous one. We are not jumping randomly from topic to topic. Rather, we are constructing a comprehensive framework for understanding and engaging with lucid dreaming in a way that feels natural and sustainable. By the time we reach the final sections, you will have integrated not just knowledge, but a genuine capacity to apply these principles in your own life, in your own sleep, in your own dreams. The night ahead, and every night that follows, holds potential you may not have fully recognized. Your dreams are not interruptions to your sleep. They are not random noise generated by your sleeping brain. They are expressions of your deepest self, conversations between different aspects of your consciousness, creative processes unfolding beneath the surface of your waking awareness. And they are completely within your reach. The gateway between the waking world and the dream realm is not locked. It has never been locked. It simply requires that you approach it with knowledge, with intention, and with the gentle determination to step through and claim the territory on the other side. The science of sleep stages. Your brain never truly rests even when you sleep. Instead, it transitions through a carefully orchestrated sequence of stages, each with its own distinct characteristics, its own unique brainwave patterns, and its own essential functions for your physical and mental well-being. Understanding this rhythm is fundamental to understanding where dreams occur, and more specifically, where lucid dreaming becomes most accessible. The science of sleep is not abstract or distant from your lived experience. It is happening in your brain right now, every night, following patterns that have evolved over millions of years of human existence. When you first close your eyes and begin to drift towards sleep, your brain enters what scientists call light sleep, or stage 1 non-REM sleep. During this initial transition, your brain waves begin to slow from the rapid beta waves of wakefulness into the slightly slower alpha and theta waves. Your body temperature drops slightly. Your muscles begin to relax. You are still somewhat aware of your surroundings. Though this awareness is fading, you might experience hypnagogic hallucinations during this stage, those strange sensations of falling or seeing images that seem to come from nowhere. These are not signs of anything wrong. They are simply the natural phenomena that occur as your brain shifts from one mode of consciousness to another. As sleep deepens, you move into stage 2 non-REM sleep, where your brain waves slow further, and your consciousness becomes increasingly detached from external sensory input. Your body temperature continues to drop, your heart rate slows, your breathing becomes more regular and measured. This stage comprises a significant portion of your total sleep time, often around half of all the sleep you get each night. During this stage, your brain engages in memory consolidation, processing the events and information from your waking day and beginning the complex work of integrating new memories with existing knowledge. Then comes stage 3 non-REM sleep, often called deep sleep or slow wave sleep. During this stage, your brain waves slow to delta waves, the slowest waves produced by the human brain. Your body is profoundly relaxed. Your blood pressure drops. Growth hormone is released, facilitating physical restoration and repair. If someone were to try to wake you during this stage, you would feel groggy and disoriented, a phenomenon called sleep inertia. Deep sleep is crucial for physical restoration, immune function, and metabolic regulation. It is during deep sleep that your body repairs itself, that wounds heal more quickly, that your immune system strengthens itself against illness. But then something remarkable happens. After spending time in these deeper stages of sleep, your brain reverses course. It does not simply drift back to lighter sleep. Instead, it enters a completely different state of consciousness called REM sleep, which stands for rapid eye movement sleep. During REM sleep, your brain waves actually speed up, becoming more similar to waking brainwave patterns than to the slow waves of deep sleep. Your eyes move rapidly from side to side beneath your closed eyelids. Your core body temperature rises, your heart rate increases, and your brain becomes intensely active in certain regions, particularly those associated with emotion, memory, and visual processing. REM sleep is when most vivid dreaming occurs. During this stage, your brain is generating complex narratives, creating entire worlds with their own logic and physics. Your brain is not receiving sensory input from your eyes, ears, or other sense organs in the normal way. The visual cortex is active, but it is generating images internally rather than processing external visual information. The motor cortex is active, but your muscles are essentially paralyzed, a phenomenon called REM atonia that prevents you from acting out your dreams physically. This is actually protective. Without this muscle paralysis, you might literally leap from your bed or strike out at imaginary threats within your dreams. What is particularly fascinating is that during REM sleep, your prefrontal cortex, the region of your brain most associated with logical thinking and reality testing, shows decreased activity compared to waking. This explains why in dreams, you can fly without questioning how flight is possible. You can speak with people who died years ago without wondering if they are really there. You can be in your childhood home and your adult home simultaneously without recognizing the impossibility. Your dreaming brain is not operating under the same logical constraints as your waking brain. It is functioning in a different mode entirely, one that prioritizes narrative flow and emotional resonance over logical consistency. A complete sleep cycle, from light sleep through deep sleep and into REM sleep, takes approximately 90 minutes. Your brain repeats this cycle multiple times throughout the night. A typical night of sleep includes 4 to 6 complete cycles. In the early cycles of the night, deep sleep dominates. Your first cycle might include only a brief period of REM sleep, perhaps 10 to 15 minutes, but as the night progresses, the proportion shifts. The later cycles include progressively longer periods of REM sleep and less deep sleep. By the end of the night, you might spend 30 to 40 minutes in a single REM period, generating some of your most vivid and complex dreams. This is crucial information for anyone interested in lucid dreaming, because lucid dreams are most likely to occur during these longer REM periods late in the night. Your brain is already in a state of high activation and vivid dream generation. Your logical mind, though still somewhat quieter than during wakefulness, is more accessible than it is during the earlier REM periods. This is why many lucid dreamers find that their most successful lucid dreams occur in the early morning hours, after their brain has completed several full sleep cycles and is primed for this particular state of consciousness. The neurotransmitter landscape of sleep is equally important to understand. During wakefulness, your brain maintains high levels of norepinephrine, a neurotransmitter that keeps you alert and responsive to external stimuli. As you enter sleep, norepinephrine levels drop dramatically. During REM sleep, norepinephrine is virtually absent. This absence of norepinephrine is one reason you do not fully respond to external stimuli during dreams. A loud noise might be incorporated into your dream narrative rather than waking you up. A change in room temperature might appear in your dream as weather rather than alerting your conscious mind. Simultaneously, other neurotransmitters become more prominent during REM sleep. Acetylcholine levels increase, facilitating the vivid visual imagery and narrative generation characteristic of dreams. Serotonin levels drop, which may explain why dreams often have a more emotional and less logically organized quality than waking thought. The specific balance of these neurochemical states creates the unique consciousness of dreaming, different from both waking consciousness and the deeper unconsciousness of non-REM sleep. What makes lucid dreaming neurologically possible is that these neurotransmitter patterns can shift even while you remain in REM sleep. With practice, You can increase norepinephrine activity slightly, bringing more of your logical mind online while still maintaining the vivid dreaming state. You can enhance your metacognitive awareness, your ability to think about your own thinking and observe your own mental processes, even as the dream narrative continues to unfold. This is not a violation of normal sleep physiology. It is simply an optimization of the natural capacities your brain already possesses. Recognition signals, learning to spot the dream. The foundation of lucid dreaming rests not on forcing yourself awake or on some external intervention, but on developing a simple, elegant skill, the ability to recognize that you are dreaming while the dream is still happening. This recognition is called becoming lucid, and it is based on learning to spot the characteristic features of dreams, the ways that dream reality differs subtly, and sometimes not so subtly from waking reality. Every dream contains these recognition signals. Every dream offers clues that you are dreaming. The challenge is not that these signals do not exist. The challenge is training your sleeping mind to notice them. One of the most reliable recognition signals is the nature of text and numbers in dreams. In waking life, text remains stable. You can read a sentence, look away, and read it again, and the words will be identical. Numbers remain consistent. A clock shows a specific time. A sign displays a particular message. But in dreams, text and numbers are notoriously unstable. If you read something in a dream and then look at it again, the words will have changed. Numbers shift and transform. A clock might show 3 different times if you look at it 3 times in succession. This instability is not random. It reflects the way your dreaming brain generates information on the fly, rather than storing it in the stable way your waking brain does. This recognition signal becomes a powerful tool through a practice called reality checking. A reality check is a simple action you perform repeatedly throughout your waking day, with the intention of eventually performing it during a dream. The most common and effective reality check involves looking at your hands. In waking life, your hands appear normal. They have the correct number of fingers, they appear solid and stable. But in dreams, hands often appear distorted. You might have 6 fingers or 3. Your hands might appear translucent or seem to melt or shift. Some people report that when they look at their hands in a dream, their fingers seem to pass through each other like water. The practice involves looking at your hands multiple times throughout the day, perhaps 20 to 30 times with genuine curiosity. Really examine them. Notice how many fingers you have. Feel the texture of your skin. Notice the lines in your palms. This simple act of attention, repeated consistently, becomes a habit, and habits persist into sleep. Eventually, you will look at your hands in a dream with the same curiosity you have developed during waking hours. And when you do, you will notice that something is wrong. Your hands will look strange, and in that moment of noticing that strangeness, you will realize you are dreaming. Another powerful recognition signal involves light switches and electronic devices. In dreams, these often malfunction in characteristic ways. Light switches frequently do not work as expected. You might flip a switch and the lights do not respond, or they flicker erratically, or they become impossibly bright. Similarly, electronic devices often behave strangely in dreams. Your phone might display text that keeps changing. A television might show images that do not make logical sense. This is because your dreaming brain, while creative and generative, struggles to simulate the specific physical laws that govern electrical systems. Time is another recognition signal. In dreams, time behaves differently than in waking life. You might experience what seems like hours of dream experience that actually corresponds to only minutes of sleep time. Conversations that feel lengthy might have occurred in seconds. Alternatively, you might have a very brief dream that feels like it took only moments. More subtly, you might notice that time seems to jump around in dreams. You are in one location, then suddenly you are in another with no transition. You are having a conversation with someone, and suddenly you are talking to someone else without remembering how the conversation changed. The logic of dreams also offers recognition signals. In waking life, the world follows consistent rules. People have the bodies they have. Locations remain geographically consistent. Cause and effect function predictably. But in dreams, logic becomes malleable. You might be in your childhood home, and suddenly it connects to your current workplace, through a door that should not exist. You might encounter people who are simultaneously themselves and someone else. You might be able to walk through walls or find that gravity works differently. These logical impossibilities, when noticed, are powerful indicators that you are dreaming. Emotions provide another layer of recognition signals. Dream emotions are often disproportionate to dream events. You might feel overwhelming terror in response to something that is not objectively threatening, or you might feel profound calm in a situation that should be disturbing. You might experience rapid emotional shifts, going from joy to sadness to anger within moments, without clear reasons for these transitions. While waking emotions can also be complex and sometimes inconsistent with circumstances, the particular quality of dream emotions, their intensity, and their lack of correspondence to logical causes can serve as a signal that you are dreaming. The practice of developing recognition signals involves consistent application of reality checks combined with reflection on your dreams. Keep a dream journal, a simple notebook by your bed where you record your dreams immediately upon waking. Even if you remember only fragments, write them down. As you record these dreams and reflect on them, you begin to notice patterns. You notice the types of impossible situations that appear regularly in your dreams. You notice your personal dream signs, the specific ways that your dreams tend to deviate from waking reality. These personal patterns are more reliable indicators than generic recognition signals because they are tailored to your own mind. Some people's dreams, for instance, frequently include flying. Others rarely experience flight, but frequently encounter dead relatives or animals that speak. Some dreamers regularly find themselves in their childhood home. Others frequently experience dreams where they are back in school. These personal dream signs, when noticed, become powerful recognition signals. If you know that you frequently encounter speaking animals in dreams, then the next time you have a conversation with an animal, you can use that as a signal to reality check and realize you are dreaming. The key to effective recognition signals is consistency without forcing. You do not want to become obsessive or anxious about reality checking. Rather, you want to integrate it into your daily routine in a relaxed, curious way. As you go through your day, perhaps when you pass through a doorway or when you take a break from work, you naturally look at your hands with genuine interest. You notice your surroundings with attention. You read something and pay attention to the stability of the text. This consistent, gentle practice trains your mind to maintain a background level of awareness about the nature of reality. Over time, this habit of questioning reality becomes so ingrained that it persists into your dreams. One night, in the middle of a dream, you will spontaneously look at your hands or notice something logically impossible. And in that moment, the recognition will dawn on you with absolute clarity. You are dreaming. This is not a forced realization or something you have to convince yourself of. It is direct perception. You know with certainty that you are dreaming because the evidence is unmistakable, and in that moment, everything changes. The dream becomes your playground, your laboratory, your territory to explore and shape consciously. The art of gentle awakening. There exists a peculiar region of consciousness, a threshold space that exists between wakefulness and sleep, where your mind can potentially remain aware as your body transitions into sleep. This state, known as the hypnagogic state, represents one of the most direct pathways into lucid dreaming. Unlike the approach of recognizing that you are dreaming while already dreaming, the hypnagogic approach involves maintaining your consciousness continuously, never fully losing awareness. As your body enters sleep and your mind begins generating dreams, it is a state of exquisite balance, requiring neither force nor tension, but rather a quality of relaxed awareness. The challenge of the hypnagogic approach lies in its essential paradox. You need to fall asleep while remaining awake. Your logical mind needs to quiet but not disappear. Your body needs to relax completely, but your consciousness needs to remain present. Most people, when they try this approach for the first time, fail in one of two ways. Either they fall asleep completely, losing awareness in the process, or they become too alert, too focused on maintaining awareness, and their heightened mental activity prevents sleep from occurring at all. The solution to this paradox involves understanding the natural oscillations of consciousness that occur as you approach sleep. As your brain begins the transition towards sleep, your mind does not simply dim gradually like a light on a dimmer switch. Instead, it fluctuates. Moments of drowsiness alternate with moments of relative alertness. Your attention drifts and then snaps back. Your body feels heavy, and then you suddenly become aware again. These oscillations are natural and inevitable. Rather than fighting them, you can work with them. The technique begins with creating the optimal conditions for sleep. You need to be genuinely tired, not merely in a neutral state where sleep is possible, but not imminent. Attempting the hypnagogic technique when you are too alert will simply keep you awake. But attempting it when you are exhausted might result in you falling into deep sleep before you can maintain awareness. The sweet spot is a state of relaxed tiredness, where your body is ready for sleep and sleep is imminent, but you are not yet so exhausted that your consciousness will immediately vanish. Many practitioners find that the hypnagogic technique works best in the early morning hours, after you have already completed several sleep cycles. You might wake naturally after 6 or 7 hours of sleep, when your body has already restored itself somewhat, but your mind is still inclined towards sleep. In this state of partial rest combined with residual sleepiness, the conditions for hypnagogic awareness are optimal. If you attempt this technique in the evening, when you are extremely tired after a long day, you might find that sleep claims you entirely before you can maintain awareness. Once you have settled into bed and created the right conditions, the practice involves a specific quality of attention. You do not watch your thoughts. You do not try to control your mind or force it into any particular direction. Instead, you adopt an attitude of gentle observation. You notice the sensations in your body without trying to change them. You hear any sounds in your environment without reacting to them. You allow your thoughts to flow without grasping at them or pushing them away. This is similar to meditation, but with a crucial difference. In meditation, the goal is often to maintain alert awareness. Here the goal is to allow consciousness to gradually soften and transition towards sleep while maintaining a thread of awareness. As you settle into this state of gentle observation, you will begin to notice the hypnagogic phenomena. Your mind might generate images that seem to appear from nowhere. These are not memories or conscious thoughts. They are spontaneous visual phenomena generated by your brain as it transitions into the dream state. You might see geometric patterns or faces or scenes. You might hear sounds or voices. You might experience physical sensations like vibrations or a sense of floating. All of these phenomena are normal and natural. The key is to observe them without reacting strongly to them. Many people make the mistake of becoming excited when they notice hypnagogic phenomena, thinking, "This is it, I am entering the dream state." This excitement, this sudden spike in alertness, disrupts the delicate balance and pulls you back toward full wakefulness. The practice requires that you remain calm and unmoved by these phenomena. You notice them with interest, but without emotional investment. You maintain the same gentle, observant quality whether hypnagogic imagery is present or absent. As you continue this practice, you may begin to notice a transition point, a moment where your sense of your physical body seems to shift or fade. Your body might feel heavier, as though it is sinking, or it might feel lighter, as though it is floating. You might lose your sense of where your body is in space. These sensations indicate that your body is entering the sleep paralysis state, where your muscles are essentially offline, and your brain is shifting into REM sleep mode. This is actually an ideal moment. Your body is now in sleep mode, but your consciousness is still present. What happens next requires a crucial decision. You can attempt to move your dream body. In the hypnagogic state, you do not have direct control over your physical body because it is in sleep paralysis. But your mind can begin to generate a dream body, a sense of having a body within the emerging dream space. You can mentally imagine rolling out of your physical bed, or floating upward, or standing up. As you do this, you might feel a sensation of movement or separation, and suddenly you are no longer in your physical body, but in your dream body, in a dream environment, and you are conscious. You have entered a lucid dream directly from wakefulness. Some people experience this transition smoothly. Others find it more challenging. The key is patience and consistency. This technique rarely works on the first attempt. It might not work on the 10th attempt, But with consistent practice, your brain gradually becomes more skilled at maintaining awareness through the transition. Each attempt teaches your mind something about the process. Each failure is actually a success because it provides information about what does not work, which narrows down what does work. An alternative approach to the hypnagogic technique involves the body scan method. As you lie in bed, you systematically bring awareness to different parts of your body, starting from your toes and moving upward. You notice the sensations in your feet, your ankles, your calves, without trying to change anything. You simply observe. As you move this awareness upward through your body, you are maintaining a thread of consciousness, even as your body becomes progressively more relaxed and sleep begins to claim you. By the time you reach the top of your head, you may find that your body is essentially asleep, but your mind remains aware. Some practitioners combine the hypnagogic approach with specific intentions or affirmations. As you are settling into this state, you might mentally repeat a phrase such as, "I am aware during sleep," or "I maintain consciousness as I dream." These affirmations serve as anchors for your intention, reminding your mind of what you are attempting to achieve. However, these affirmations should be gentle and relaxed, not forceful or demanding. You are not trying to convince yourself through repetition. You are simply maintaining a gentle reminder of your intention. The hypnagogic approach to lucid dreaming represents a direct path, one that bypasses the need to recognize that you are dreaming within an already formed dream. Instead, you maintain awareness continuously from wakefulness through the transition into the dream state. While this technique can feel challenging initially, it becomes increasingly accessible with practice. Many experienced lucid dreamers find that once they develop skill with this technique, it becomes one of their most reliable methods for entering lucid dreams. Memory anchors, bridging night and day. Your memories are the threads that connect your waking life to your dream life. They are the raw material from which your dreams are constructed. Every person you have ever met, every place you have ever been, every emotion you have ever experienced becomes part of your memory landscape. And your dreaming mind draws from this landscape constantly, weaving memories into narratives, combining them in creative ways, exploring them from new angles. Understanding this connection between memory and dreams and learning to intentionally work with this relationship opens up powerful possibilities for lucid dreaming. Dream journaling is the foundational practice for working with memory in the service of lucid dreaming. The practice is straightforward, but requires consistency. You keep a notebook by your bed, and immediately upon waking, before you get up, before you check your phone, before you do anything else, you write down your dreams. You do not need to write extensively. Even brief notes capture the essence of what you remember. You might write only a few sentences. You might write several paragraphs. The length is less important than the consistency and the immediacy. What makes dream journaling so powerful is that it trains your brain to value dreams and to remember them more vividly. Most people forget the vast majority of their dreams. This is not because they do not dream. Everyone dreams multiple times each night during REM sleep. Rather, it is because dreams are not consolidated into long-term memory unless you actively work with them. The moment you wake up, if you do not actively engage with your dreams, they begin to fade. Within minutes, most dream details are lost. Within hours, almost everything is forgotten. By writing down your dreams immediately upon waking, you interrupt this forgetting process. You are telling your brain that dreams are important, worth remembering, worth your attention. Over time, this practice has a remarkable effect. Your dreams become more vivid. You remember them more easily. You remember more details. Some people report that after maintaining a dream journal for a few weeks, they go from remembering 1 or 2 dreams per week to remembering multiple dreams every night. This increased dream recall is not just useful for general interest. It is essential for lucid dreaming because you cannot become lucid in dreams you do not remember. As you write in your dream journal, you are also creating a database of your personal dream signs, the characteristic patterns and themes that appear repeatedly in your dreams. You might notice that you frequently appear in certain locations. You might notice that particular people or types of people regularly appear in your dreams. You might notice emotional themes or plot structures that repeat. These patterns are invaluable because they become your personal recognition signals. When you encounter these familiar elements in a dream, they remind you to reality check and recognize that you are dreaming. Beyond simply recording your dreams, you can use your dream journal as a tool for setting intentions. Before sleep, you can write in your journal a specific intention for your dreams. You might write, "Tonight I will recognize my dreams," or "Tonight I will become aware that I am dreaming," or "Tonight I will fly." The act of writing these intentions, combined with the habit of reading through your previous dreams before sleep, primes your brain for lucid dreaming. You are establishing a clear intention, and you are reminding yourself of your commitment to becoming conscious in your dreams. Intention-setting rituals extend beyond journal writing. Many lucid dreamers develop specific pre-sleep practices that reinforce their intention to become lucid. You might spend a few minutes before sleep visualizing yourself becoming aware in a dream. You might repeat affirmations. You might perform a specific physical gesture or ritual that you associate with lucid dreaming. The specific ritual matters less than the consistency and the genuine intention behind it. You are essentially programming your unconscious mind, setting up a pattern that your brain comes to recognize and respond to. Memory palaces, an ancient memory technique, can be adapted for lucid dreaming. This technique involves mentally constructing an imaginary building or landscape and placing information within it. You might create a mental palace where each room contains different dream recognition signals or techniques. As you walk through this palace in your imagination before sleep, you are reinforcing these concepts and priming your mind to remember them in dreams. When you encounter similar elements in an actual dream, they trigger the memory of the palace and the associated lucid dreaming techniques. The relationship between waking memory and dream memory is reciprocal. While your dreams draw from your waking memories, your waking memory can also be shaped by your dreams. If you have a particularly vivid or emotionally significant dream, it can influence how you perceive waking events. Conversely, significant waking events become the raw material for future dreams. This reciprocal relationship can be intentionally cultivated. You can deliberately expose yourself to certain experiences, read certain books, watch certain films, or have certain conversations with the intention that these will seed your dreams with specific content. Some lucid dreamers use a technique called the Wake Back to Bed method, or WBTB, which involves waking up in the middle of the night and then returning to sleep with the specific intention of becoming lucid. This technique works by disrupting your normal sleep cycle and creating a moment of heightened awareness. When you wake up in the middle of the night and then return to sleep, your mind is in a unique state. It is more alert than it would be at the beginning of the night, but you still have the sleepiness that facilitates sleep. This combination of alertness and sleepiness is ideal for lucid dreaming. The WBTB technique typically involves waking after about 5 or 6 hours of sleep, staying awake for a brief period of 15 to 30 minutes, and then returning to bed with a clear intention to become lucid. During the time you are awake, you might read about lucid dreaming, write in your dream journal, or simply review your intention. Then, when you return to sleep, your brain re-enters sleep more quickly than it would at the beginning of the night. But your mind remains slightly more activated than it would be during normal sleep. This creates ideal conditions for lucid dreaming. Memory consolidation, the process by which short-term experiences become long-term memories, occurs during sleep. Interestingly, this process continues even during lucid dreams. If you practice a skill or review information while lucid dreaming, your brain processes and consolidates this information similarly to how it would if you practiced while awake. This means that lucid dreaming can be used not just for exploration and adventure, but for learning and skill development. You can practice a musical instrument, a language, or a physical skill in a lucid dream, and your brain will process this practice and improve your actual waking abilities. The bridge between waking and dreaming memory is ultimately about cultivating a unified consciousness, one that persists and remains aware across different states of being. By maintaining your dream journal, by setting clear intentions, by reflecting on your dreams, and by recognizing the patterns and themes that emerge, you are establishing continuity. You are telling your mind that your dreams matter, that they are part of your complete experience and that you want to be conscious and present within them. This continuity is the foundation upon which lucid dreaming is built. The threshold technique, your first conscious dream. You have now accumulated knowledge about how sleep works, how to recognize dreams, how to maintain consciousness during the transition into sleep, and how to work with memory to support lucid dreaming. Now we arrive at the moment of synthesis, the practical technique that brings all these elements together. The threshold technique is a step-by-step method designed specifically for someone beginning their lucid dreaming practice. It combines elements of reality checking, intention setting, and the hypnagogic approach into a cohesive practice that significantly increases the likelihood of experiencing your first conscious dream. The threshold technique begins with preparation that occurs in the days and weeks leading up to your first attempt. During this preparation phase, you are establishing the foundation upon which your lucid dream will be built. You begin or continue your practice of frequent reality checks throughout the day. You maintain your dream journal, recording your dreams every morning. You are identifying your personal dream signs, those elements that appear repeatedly in your dreams and that will serve as recognition signals. You are also setting a clear, specific intention. Rather than a vague desire to have a lucid dream, you are establishing a precise intention such as, tonight after my fourth sleep cycle, I will recognize that I am dreaming and become conscious within my dream. The timing of your attempt is crucial. As mentioned previously, the threshold technique works best during the early morning hours after you have already completed several full sleep cycles. Your body has already restored itself to a significant degree. Your mind has moved through several cycles of deep sleep and REM sleep. You are now in a state where additional deep sleep is less necessary, and your brain is inclined toward longer periods of REM sleep. This is the optimal window for maintaining consciousness during the transition into sleep. When you wake in the early morning, perhaps after 6 or 7 hours of sleep, you have a decision point. You can check the time if you wish, but you do not need to. You are simply noticing that you have woken. At this moment, you might get up briefly, perhaps use the bathroom or get a glass of water, which will help ensure that you are awake enough to maintain awareness during the subsequent sleep. But you do not fully engage with your waking life. You do not turn on bright lights or check your phone. You keep the environment dim and quiet. When you return to bed, you settle in with a clear intention. You mentally affirm your intention to become lucid. You might repeat a phrase such as, I will recognize my dreams, or I will become aware that I am dreaming. You might visualize yourself in a dream, noticing something impossible, and then becoming aware that you are dreaming. You hold this intention clearly in your mind as you begin to settle back towards sleep. As you lie in bed, you adopt the gentle observation technique described earlier. You are not trying to force yourself to sleep, nor are you trying to stay awake. You are simply observing your own mind and body as they transition towards sleep. You notice your thoughts drifting. You notice your body becoming heavier. You do not react to these sensations, you simply observe them with calm interest. As you approach sleep, you may begin to experience hypnagogic phenomena. You might see images, hear sounds, or feel sensations. These are normal and natural. You observe them without excitement or fear. You maintain the same gentle, observant quality, regardless of what phenomena arise. If you become excited or anxious about the hypnagogic experiences, you will pull yourself back toward full wakefulness and disrupt the process. If you become too passive or lose awareness entirely, you will fall into normal sleep without maintaining consciousness. At some point during this process, you may notice that your sense of your body has shifted. You might feel heavier or lighter. You might lose your sense of where your body is in space. You might feel vibrations or a sense of movement. These sensations indicate that your body is entering sleep paralysis and your brain is shifting into REM sleep mode. This is an important threshold. You are now on the edge of the dream state. At this moment, you can attempt to move your dream body. Rather than trying to move your physical body, which is in sleep paralysis and will not respond, you imagine movement. You might imagine rolling out of your physical bed or floating upward or standing up. You might imagine walking toward a door or a window. As you do this, you may feel a sensation of movement or separation from your physical body. You might find yourself in a dream environment, and if all goes well, You are conscious. You are aware that you are dreaming. You have successfully entered a lucid dream. In this first lucid dream, the priority is not to accomplish anything dramatic or to test your abilities extensively. The priority is to maintain lucidity. The moment you become lucid, there is often a surge of excitement or surprise. You might think, "Oh my God, I am lucid dreaming." This emotional surge can actually destabilize the dream. The excitement can pull you back toward wakefulness, and you might wake up. Alternatively, the excitement can disrupt the delicate balance of consciousness within the dream, and you might lose lucidity even though you remain asleep. To prevent this disruption, many lucid dreamers recommend a technique called grounding or stabilization. The moment you become lucid, rather than being swept away by excitement, you pause. You might place your hands on the ground or on a wall within the dream. You might focus on the sensations around you. You might examine your hands closely, which will likely appear unusual in the dream. You might rub your hands together. You might look around and deliberately notice details of your dream environment. These grounding techniques keep your awareness focused within the dream and prevent the excitement from pulling you back to wakefulness. Your first lucid dream might be brief. You might maintain lucidity for only a few seconds or a few minutes. This is completely normal and completely successful. You have achieved the primary goal, which is becoming conscious within a dream. As you practice this technique repeatedly, your ability to maintain lucidity will increase. Your lucid dreams will become longer and more stable. But even a brief lucid dream, lasting only seconds, represents a profound shift in your relationship with your own consciousness. After your first lucid dream, when you wake, you should immediately write about it in your dream journal. Write down what you remember, including how the lucidity began, how long you maintained it, what you experienced, and how it felt. This record serves multiple purposes. It reinforces the memory of the lucid dream. It provides information that will help you repeat the experience, and it acknowledges and honors the significance of what you have accomplished. The threshold technique is not guaranteed to produce a lucid dream on your first attempt. Some people experience lucidity on the first try. Others require multiple attempts, but with consistent practice using this technique, most people who genuinely commit to the practice will experience a lucid dream within a few weeks. And once you have experienced one lucid dream, your brain understands that this state is possible. Subsequent lucid dreams become more accessible. Stabilizing your dream body. The moment you become conscious within a dream, you have achieved a remarkable milestone. But this achievement is fragile. Lucidity is not automatically stable. Your lucid dream can end in several ways. You might become so excited that you wake up. You might become confused about whether you are dreaming or awake and lose your lucid awareness. You might simply drift into regular dreaming and lose the thread of consciousness. Or in some cases, you might experience a phenomenon called false awakening, where you dream that you have woken up and you might not immediately realize that you are still dreaming. Stabilization techniques are methods for maintaining lucidity and preventing these disruptions. They work by anchoring your consciousness within the dream, by strengthening your sense of presence and awareness within the dream environment. The most fundamental stabilization technique involves focusing your attention on the sensations of your dream body and your dream environment. When you first become lucid, the dream environment around you might feel somewhat vague or unstable. The colors might seem muted. The textures might feel indistinct. The sounds might seem distant. This is because your attention, still somewhat influenced by waking state expectations, is not fully engaged with the dream. By deliberately focusing your attention on sensory details, you strengthen your engagement with the dream and stabilize your lucidity. One effective technique involves examining your hands in detail. You have already used your hands as a reality check to recognize that you are dreaming. Now you use them as a stabilization tool. Look at your hands closely. Notice every detail. Are there the correct number of fingers? What color are they? What is the texture of your skin? Are there lines or markings? Run your other hand over your palm and feel the texture. This combination of visual attention and tactile sensation anchors your consciousness within the dream. As you focus on the sensations in your hands, you simultaneously strengthen your lucidity. Another stabilization technique involves touching objects in your dream environment. Place your hand on a wall, a table, or any solid object. Feel the texture. Is it rough or smooth? Is it warm or cool? Is it solid or does it have some give to it? By engaging multiple sensory channels simultaneously, you deepen your immersion in the dream and stabilize your lucidity. The dream becomes more vivid and more solid as you interact with it this way. Some lucid dreamers use a technique called spinning or rolling. The moment they become lucid, if the dream environment feels unstable or vague, they deliberately spin their dream body or roll on the ground. This kinesthetic stimulation seems to stabilize the dream and strengthen lucidity. The sensation of movement, combined with the visual sensation of the dream environment spinning around you, engages your sensory systems fully and anchors your consciousness within the dream. Vocalization is another powerful stabilization technique. Simply speaking or shouting within your dream, saying something like "clarity now" or "stabilize," can strengthen your lucidity. The act of producing sound and hearing your own voice within the dream engages your auditory system and reinforces your sense of presence. Some lucid dreamers report that simply saying, "I am dreaming," repeatedly helps maintain their lucidity. The technique of rubbing your hands together is particularly effective for many people. When you rub your hands together within a lucid dream, you create a strong tactile sensation. You hear the sound of your hands rubbing together. You feel the friction and warmth. This multisensory experience powerfully anchors your consciousness within the dream. Many experienced lucid dreamers report that when they feel their lucidity beginning to destabilize, rubbing their hands together immediately strengthens it. Some people use a technique called the dream stabilization spiral. Imagine that you are standing in a spiral that extends downward into the dream. As you visualize stepping into this spiral, moving deeper and deeper, you are simultaneously moving deeper into the dream and strengthening your lucidity. This technique works through imagination and intention, and it can be remarkably effective for people who are visually oriented. The practice of deliberately moving through your dream environment with intention also stabilizes lucidity. Rather than passively observing the dream, you actively explore it. You walk around, you look at different objects, you interact with your dream environment. This active engagement strengthens your sense of presence and agency within the dream. You are not a passive observer. You are an active participant, and this active participation stabilizes your lucidity. As you practice stabilization techniques, you will begin to develop an intuitive sense of which techniques work best for you. Some people find that tactile techniques like rubbing their hands together are most effective. Others find that vocalization works best. Still others find that visual techniques, focusing intently on details of the dream environment, are most effective. Your personal preference will likely depend on your sensory strengths and your individual neurophysiology. An important principle in stabilization is avoiding panic or excessive excitement. If you find yourself becoming anxious about your lucidity or worried that you might wake up, this anxiety itself can destabilize the dream. The key is to remain calm and grounded, to trust that your lucidity is stable, and to continue engaging gently with your dream. This calm, confident engagement is what maintains lucidity. Additionally, it is important to avoid becoming too focused on maintaining lucidity at the expense of actually experiencing the dream. The goal is not to white-knuckle your way through a lucid dream, gripping it desperately to prevent it from slipping away. Rather, the goal is to maintain a relaxed awareness while engaging naturally with your dream. This balance between awareness and engagement, between structure and spontaneity, is what creates a stable, enjoyable, lucid dream. With practice, stabilization becomes increasingly automatic. You do not have to consciously think through each stabilization technique. As you become more experienced with lucid dreaming, your mind learns to maintain stability naturally. Your lucid dreams become longer and more stable. What once required deliberate effort becomes second nature. Transforming nightmares into adventures. Nightmares are among the most common reasons people seek better control over their dreams. A nightmare is not simply a bad dream. It is a dream that produces strong negative emotions, typically fear or anxiety, often accompanied by physical reactions like increased heart rate or perspiration. The content of nightmares varies widely. Some people have recurring nightmares about being chased. Others have nightmares involving violence, death, or catastrophe. Still others have nightmares that involve social humiliation or failure. Whatever the specific content, nightmares share the characteristic of producing distressing emotions. Most people respond to nightmares by wishing they would go away, by hoping not to have them again. But from the perspective of lucid dreaming, nightmares represent a tremendous opportunity. They are opportunities to practice lucid dreaming under challenging conditions. They are opportunities to confront fears in a safe environment. And they are opportunities to transform the nightmare into an adventure. The first step in transforming nightmares is understanding that they are fundamentally generated by your own mind. No external entity is creating the nightmare. No supernatural force is attacking you. Your own brain is generating the nightmare narrative, and your own brain is generating the fear response. This might seem like a subtle distinction, but it is profoundly important. If you believe that external forces are creating your nightmares, you are helpless. But if you recognize that your mind is creating your nightmares, you recognize that you have the capacity to transform them. The second step involves recognizing that the content of nightmares is not random. Nightmares typically emerge from areas of genuine concern or unresolved emotional issues in your waking life. You might have a nightmare about being chased if you are feeling pursued or pressured in waking life. You might have a nightmare about losing your teeth if you are experiencing anxiety about appearance or control. You might have a nightmare about being naked in public if you are experiencing vulnerability or exposure anxiety. Understanding what your nightmares are reflecting about your waking concerns is valuable psychological work. However, the immediate approach to transforming nightmares into adventures does not require resolving the underlying psychological issues first. You can begin transforming nightmares immediately by applying lucid dreaming principles. The key is becoming lucid within the nightmare. Once you are lucid, once you realize you are dreaming, the entire dynamic of the nightmare changes. When you are lucid within a nightmare, you have several options. The first option is simply to change the dream. If you are being chased, you can stop running. You can turn around and face your pursuer. You can make yourself fly and escape upward. You can snap your fingers and change the environment. You can transform your nightmare character into something harmless or even friendly. All of these transformations are possible when you are lucid because you understand that nothing in the dream can actually harm you. Many experienced lucid dreamers find that the most transformative approach to nightmares involves confronting the source of fear directly. If you are being chased, you can turn around, stand your ground, and ask your pursuer what it wants. This might sound terrifying, but remember, you are dreaming. The pursuer cannot actually harm you, and in many cases, when you confront a nightmare character with curiosity rather than fear, the character transforms. It might reveal that it is not actually threatening. It might transform into something benign or even helpful. This practice of confronting nightmare characters is based on psychological principles related to how fear works. Fear typically involves avoidance. When we are afraid of something, we tend to avoid it, and avoidance actually strengthens the fear. But when we approach something we are afraid of, when we investigate it with curiosity, the fear often diminishes. This principle applies powerfully in lucid dreams because the dream environment is completely safe. You can confront your fears without any actual danger. Some lucid dreamers use a technique called the nightmare reframing. When you become lucid within a nightmare, rather than changing the content of the dream, you change your interpretation of it. If you are being chased, you can reframe it as a game, as a playful pursuit rather than a threatening one. If you are falling, you can reframe it as flying. If you are in danger, you can remind yourself that you are dreaming and therefore completely safe. This reframing, this shift in perspective, transforms the emotional quality of the dream from frightening to adventurous. Another approach involves using lucid dreams to practice your response to the situations that produce nightmares. If you have a nightmare about public speaking, you can use a lucid dream to practice public speaking in a supportive dream environment. If you have a nightmare about social rejection, you can use a lucid dream to practice social situations and develop confidence. The practice you do in lucid dreams actually transfers to waking life, improving your real-world responses. Some people find that maintaining a dialogue with their nightmare characters is valuable. Rather than viewing nightmare characters as enemies, you can view them as parts of yourself that are trying to communicate something. When you become lucid and encounter a nightmare character, you can ask it what it wants, why it is pursuing you, what it is trying to communicate. Often nightmare characters are not trying to harm you. They are trying to draw your attention to something you are avoiding or not addressing in your waking life. The transformation of nightmares into adventures also involves recognizing that the fear response you experience in nightmares, while uncomfortable, is not dangerous. Your heart rate might increase, you might feel adrenaline, but these are just physiological responses. They cannot harm you. And as you practice becoming lucid in nightmares and transforming them, your brain learns that nightmares are not actually threatening. The frequency and intensity of your nightmares often decrease as a result. For people who have experienced trauma and have recurrent nightmares related to that trauma, lucid dreaming can be particularly valuable. In a lucid nightmare, you have the opportunity to experience the traumatic scenario with the knowledge that you are safe and that you are in control. You can change the outcome. You can confront the situation differently. You can transform it. This can be profoundly healing. However, for severe trauma-related nightmares, it is important to work with a mental health professional in addition to practicing lucid dreaming. Lucid dreaming is a powerful tool, but it is not a replacement for trauma therapy. Working with both approaches simultaneously can be particularly effective. Invoking presence. Meeting others in dreams. One of the most intriguing and mysterious aspects of lucid dreaming is the possibility of meeting other people within dreams. You can dream of people you know, and in a lucid dream, you can have a conversation with them that feels remarkably real. You can dream of people you have never met, and they can seem to have their own consciousness and agency. You can even set an intention to meet a particular person in a dream and find that this person appears. These experiences raise profound questions about the nature of consciousness, about whether other minds are present in your dreams, and about the possibility of shared consciousness. The first important understanding is that the dream characters you encounter are generated by your own brain. They are not separate consciousnesses that have somehow entered your dream. They are constructs created by your mind. However, this does not mean that they are simple or uninteresting. Your mind is capable of creating complex, seemingly autonomous characters that behave in ways that surprise you. These characters can appear to have their own thoughts, feelings, and motivations. They can respond to you in unexpected ways. They can seem to tell you things you did not consciously know. When you set an intention to meet a particular person in your lucid dream, what you are actually doing is programming your own mind to generate a character with that person's characteristics. Your brain possesses memories and impressions of this person. It understands their speech patterns, their mannerisms, their personality. When you set the intention, your brain uses all of this information to generate a character that behaves like this person would behave. The result can be startlingly realistic and can feel like a genuine interaction. This does not mean that the interaction is without value or meaning. Many people report that they have received genuine insights, advice, or emotional support from conversations with dream characters, including dream characters based on people they know. The fact that the character is generated by your own mind does not diminish the reality of the interaction or its potential value. Your mind is vast and mysterious. It contains knowledge and wisdom that your conscious self does not have direct access to. A conversation with a dream character can be a way of accessing this deeper knowledge. The technique for meeting a specific person in a lucid dream involves setting a clear intention before sleep. You might write in your dream journal that you intend to meet a particular person. You might visualize meeting this person in your lucid dream. You might repeat an affirmation such as, "I will meet person's name in my lucid dream tonight." Then, when you become lucid in your dream, you can actively invite this person to appear. You might look around your dream environment and expect to see this person. You might call out their name. You might walk toward a door and imagine that this person is on the other side. Many lucid dreamers report that when they set these intentions and then look for the person in their lucid dream, the person appears. Sometimes they appear suddenly. Sometimes they gradually come into focus. Sometimes they are already there when you become lucid. The specifics vary, but the basic pattern is consistent. When you set the intention and then actively look for the person, they tend to appear. The quality of these meetings varies. Some conversations are brief and simple, others are extensive and complex. Some people report that conversations with dream characters provide genuine advice or perspective that helps them with waking life problems. Others report that the conversations are less informative, but more emotionally nourishing. People who have lost loved ones sometimes report that lucid dreams allow them to meet with these people again, to have conversations they never got to have, to say goodbye, or simply to feel the presence of their loved one again. It is important to recognize that while these experiences are profoundly meaningful to many people, there are different perspectives on what they represent. Some people believe that lucid dreams involving meeting others might involve some form of shared consciousness or connection between minds. Others believe that they are entirely generated by the individual dreamer's own mind. Both perspectives can coexist with a genuine appreciation for the meaningfulness of these experiences. What is clear from both scientific and experiential perspectives is that lucid dreams involving meetings with others can be emotionally significant and psychologically beneficial. They can provide comfort, insight, and connection. They can help people process grief or maintain relationships across death. They can facilitate forgiveness or reconciliation. For these reasons, many lucid dreamers deliberately cultivate the ability to meet others in their lucid dreams. The practice of meeting others in lucid dreams can also extend to meeting archetypal figures or aspects of yourself. You can invite your wise self, your creative self, or your courageous self to appear in your dream. You can meet a guide or mentor figure. You can have a conversation with your intuition or your deeper wisdom. These meetings with internal figures can be equally valuable as meetings with external people. They represent different aspects of your own consciousness, becoming accessible and interactive. The art of flight, mastering aerial movement flight, is one of the most exhilarating experiences available in lucid dreaming. The sensation of flying, of moving freely through three-dimensional space, of viewing the world from above, produces a sense of freedom and joy that many lucid dreamers describe as transformative. Yet flight in lucid dreams does not work according to the same physics as flight in waking life. You do not need to understand aerodynamics. You do not need wings or an aircraft. You simply need to understand how intention and expectation work within the dream state. The fundamental principle underlying flight in lucid dreams is that the dream environment responds to your beliefs and expectations. If you believe you can fly, you can. If you doubt whether you can fly, your doubt will likely prevent flight. This is not mystical or magical. It is simply how the dream state operates. Your thoughts and expectations shape the dream environment directly. There is no gap between intention and manifestation in dreams. The moment you believe something, it tends to become true within the dream. For this reason, many lucid dreamers report that their first attempts at flight are often unsuccessful. They become lucid. They decide to try flying, but they are filled with doubt. Part of them believes they can fly, but another part is skeptical. This internal conflict, this divided intention, results in half-hearted attempts at flight that fail. You might jump and find yourself pulled back down by what feels like gravity. You might try to move through the air and find yourself stuck or unable to gain altitude. The solution to this problem is to approach flight with absolute conviction rather than with skepticism. One technique involves using a running start. You become lucid. You find a clear space in your dream environment and you run forward at full speed. As you run, you believe absolutely that you are going to fly. You do not hope to fly or wish to fly. You commit completely to the belief that you will fly. At the moment of peak momentum, you jump and you will find yourself in the air. Your belief carries you upward. Once you are in the air, the key to maintaining flight is to keep your attention on the flying itself and on the experience of being in the air. If your attention shifts and you begin thinking, "Wait, how is this possible? I should be falling," your doubt will cause you to fall. But if you maintain your focus on the sensation of flying, on the view below you, on the wind around you, you will continue to fly. The flight is maintained through continuous belief and attention. Some lucid dreamers find that certain techniques help them achieve flight more easily. One technique involves jumping off a high place with absolute conviction that you will fly. Another technique involves imagining that you are weightless or that gravity does not apply to you. Another technique involves visualizing yourself flying before you attempt it, priming your mind with the expectation of flight. Still, another technique involves simply willing yourself upward, focusing all your intention on the desire to rise into the air. As you become more experienced with flight in lucid dreams, you can develop greater control and sophistication. You can learn to fly faster or slower. You can learn to perform aerial maneuvers, to roll and spin and dive. You can learn to fly at different altitudes, skimming just above the ground or soaring high into the sky. You can learn to land smoothly or to transition between different types of movement. The experience of flight in lucid dreams often produces profound emotional responses. People describe feeling a sense of absolute freedom, a liberation from the constraints that bind them in waking life. They describe a sense of joy and exhilaration that is difficult to put into words. Many people report that the experience of flight in lucid dreams is so meaningful that it carries over into their waking life, expanding their sense of what is possible and their willingness to take risks and pursue their dreams. Interestingly, research has shown that practicing flight in lucid dreams can actually transfer to improvements in waking life. People who practice flying in lucid dreams often report feeling more confident, more capable, and more willing to take on challenges in their waking life. The sense of freedom and agency experienced during lucid flight seems to expand people's sense of what they are capable of in general. Beyond the personal emotional experience, flight in lucid dreams opens up possibilities for exploration. Once you can fly, you can explore your dream landscapes from new perspectives. You can view your dream world from above and see its overall structure and organization. You can travel vast distances quickly. You can explore terrain that would be inaccessible on foot. Flying becomes not just an activity, but a tool for deeper exploration of the dream realm. Landscape creation, building your dream worlds. Your dreams occur in environments. These environments can be recognizable locations from your waking life, such as your home, your workplace, or a place you have visited. But they can also be entirely novel environments that you have never seen before. They can be fantastical landscapes that violate the laws of physics. They can be abstract or symbolic spaces. And in lucid dreams, you have the capacity to deliberately create and shape these environments. The principle underlying landscape creation in lucid dreams is the same principle that underlies flight. Your expectations and beliefs shape the dream environment directly. If you expect a particular location to exist in your lucid dream, it will tend to appear. If you believe you can create a new location, you can. The dream environment is not fixed or predetermined. It is responsive to your intention. One approach to landscape creation involves visiting a location repeatedly in your lucid dreams until it becomes stable and detailed. You might decide that you want to have a lucid dream in a beautiful beach setting. In your first lucid dream, you look around for a beach. You might find one, or you might need to create one. You might imagine a doorway, open it and find a beach on the other side. You might simply will a beach into existence. The specific method matters less than the intention. Once you have created or found this beach, you explore it, noticing details, engaging your senses. On your next lucid dream, you return to the same beach with the intention of finding it again. Your brain remembers the beach from the previous lucid dream. The memory is stored in your mind. When you return with this expectation, you are likely to find the beach again, often in a similar location and with similar characteristics. Each time you visit, you can add more details, refine the environment, and deepen your familiarity with it. Over time, through repeated visits, the beach becomes a stable, detailed location that you can access reliably in your lucid dreams. This practice of creating a stable dream location is sometimes called building a dream palace or creating a lucid dream sanctuary. Many lucid dreamers develop one or more such locations that become their favorite places to visit in lucid dreams. These locations might be based on real places from waking life or they might be entirely imaginary. What matters is that they are detailed, stable, and personally meaningful. The process of refining a dream landscape involves adding sensory details progressively. In your first visit, you might notice general features. The beach is sandy, there is water, there is sky. On subsequent visits, you add more details. You notice the color of the sand, the temperature, the texture. You notice the color and quality of the water. You notice the sky and the light. You might add other features, such as structures, vegetation, or wildlife. Each addition makes the landscape more vivid and more stable. Some lucid dreamers use a technique called reality anchoring to stabilize their dream landscapes. They might pick up sand and feel it in their hands. They might wade into the water and feel its temperature. They might look closely at plants or other details. These sensory engagements anchor the landscape in your consciousness and make it more stable and vivid. The creation of dream landscapes extends beyond simply refining natural environments. You can create buildings, structures, and entire cities. You can create impossible architecture that would violate the laws of physics in waking life. You can create environments that change and transform. You can create interactive elements such as animals or dream characters who inhabit your landscape. Some lucid dreamers use their dream landscapes for specific purposes. They might create a library where they can access knowledge. They might create a classroom where they can learn from a dream teacher. They might create a healing space where they can experience therapeutic processes. They might create an adventure landscape where they can explore and play. The possibilities are limited only by your imagination. The relationship between intention and landscape creation is crucial. The more specific your intention, the more detailed and stable your landscape tends to be. If you vaguely want a nice place to visit in your lucid dream, you might find something, but it might be vague or unstable. But if you have a very specific intention, such as, I want to create a library with mahogany bookshelves, a fireplace, comfortable chairs, and soft lighting, you are much more likely to create exactly that environment. This principle of intention shaping landscape extends to the overall aesthetic and emotional quality of your dream environments. If you approach landscape creation with a sense of beauty and wonder, your landscapes tend to be beautiful and wondrous. If you approach it with a sense of playfulness, your landscapes tend to be playful. Your emotional state and your expectations color the environments you create. Time and perception in dreams. Time functions differently in dreams than it does in waking life. You might experience what feels like hours of dream activity that actually corresponds to only minutes of sleep time. Conversely, you might have a dream that feels very brief, but that actually occurred over a longer period. This flexibility of time in dreams is not a hallucination or a misperception. It is a genuine feature of how the dream state works. Your brain's perception and processing of time operates differently during sleep than during wakefulness. This difference in time perception has several sources. During waking life, your sense of time is calibrated by external events and by your body's circadian rhythms. You see the sun move across the sky. You see clocks. You feel your body's hunger and fatigue cycles. During sleep, these external time markers are absent or greatly reduced. Your brain must rely on internal processes to track time. The internal processes that track time during sleep are less precise than the external calibration available during wakefulness. Additionally, time perception is related to the amount of information your brain is processing. When your brain is processing a lot of information, time seems to slow down. When your brain is processing less information, time seems to speed up. During dreams, your brain is processing enormous amounts of information, generating complex narratives, creating vivid imagery, and processing emotions. This high level of processing can make subjective time feel extended compared to clock time. In lucid dreams specifically, this time flexibility becomes even more pronounced. Some lucid dreamers report experiences where they seem to live for hours, days, or even longer within a single lucid dream that lasts only minutes in clock time. They report having entire conversations, exploring entire landscapes, or engaging in extended activities, all within a brief sleep period. This subjective extension of time is one of the remarkable features of lucid dreaming. The mechanism underlying this time extension is not fully understood, but it appears to be related to how your brain processes information during lucid dreams. When you are lucid and consciously generating dream content, you are processing information more rapidly than you would in waking life. Your brain can generate complex scenarios, conversations, and experiences more quickly than equivalent real-world events would occur. This rapid information processing creates the subjective experience of extended time. This time, flexibility in lucid dreams opens up interesting possibilities. If you can experience hours of subjective time within minutes of clock time, you can use lucid dreams for extended practice and learning. You can practice a skill, have conversations, explore landscapes, or work on problems in what feels like hours while actually sleeping for only a few minutes. Some lucid dreamers deliberately use this time extension for learning and creative work. However, it is important to note that the time extension is subjective. Your brain is not actually speeding up its processing to an impossible degree. Rather, your perception of time is flexible. The subjective experience of extended time is real, but it is not accompanied by proportional learning or physical changes. If you practice a musical instrument for what feels like 8 hours in a lucid dream but is actually 10 minutes of sleep, you will not gain 8 hours worth of skill improvement, but you might gain more improvement than you would from 10 minutes of waking practice, because your brain is engaged intensely and without the distractions of waking life. The perception of time in lucid dreams can also be deliberately manipulated through intention. You can set an intention to slow down time within your lucid dream to make the dream feel more extended. You can also set an intention to speed up time, to move through experiences more quickly. These manipulations of time perception do not actually change the clock time your lucid dream occupies, but they do change your subjective experience of the dream. Some lucid dreamers report that they can extend the duration of their lucid dreams through intention, by repeatedly affirming that their lucid dream will continue, by engaging deeply with the dream content, by maintaining their focus and attention. They can keep their lucid dream going for extended periods. This is different from time perception alone. It is actually extending the duration of the lucid dream itself, maintaining lucidity through longer periods of sleep. The relationship between time and dream content is also interesting. In waking life, narrative and experience are constrained by the passage of clock time. A conversation takes as long as it takes. A journey takes as long as it takes. But in lucid dreams, you can compress or extend experiences. You can have a conversation that feels elaborate and detailed, but that occurs very quickly. You can have a journey through an entire landscape that feels extended, but that occurs briefly. Integration. Bringing dream wisdom to waking life. The ultimate value of lucid dreaming lies not in the dreams themselves, but in how the insights, experiences, and capacities developed through lucid dreaming transfer to and enhance your waking life. Integration is the process of bringing what you have learned and experienced in lucid dreams and applying it to the challenges, opportunities, and experiences of your waking existence. Without integration, lucid dreaming remains a fascinating hobby, entertaining but ultimately disconnected from your actual life. With integration, lucid dreaming becomes a transformative practice that expands your capabilities and deepens your understanding of who you are. Integration begins with reflection. After each lucid dream, you record it in your dream journal and then take time to reflect on what it means. You ask yourself what the dream revealed about your waking life. You consider what emotions or themes emerged in the dream and whether they relate to your current waking situation. You think about any insights or realizations that occurred during the lucid dream. This reflective practice creates connections between your dream experiences and your waking life. Many people find that their lucid dreams provide unexpected perspectives on their waking problems. You might have a lucid dream where you confront a fear directly and discover that the fear is less powerful than you thought. This experience can transfer to your waking life, increasing your courage in facing actual fears. You might have a lucid dream where you practice a difficult conversation with someone, and the practice helps you handle the actual conversation more skillfully. You might have a lucid dream where you explore a creative project, and the exploration generates ideas that you can apply in waking life. The psychological benefits of lucid dreaming are well documented. People who practice lucid dreaming report increases in confidence and self-efficacy. They report improvements in problem-solving abilities. They report greater emotional resilience. They report more access to creativity. These improvements occur because lucid dreaming is a form of practice and rehearsal. When you practice facing fears in lucid dreams, you are training your brain's fear response systems. When you practice problem-solving in lucid dreams, you are strengthening your problem-solving capabilities. When you practice creative activities in lucid dreams, you are enhancing your creative abilities. Integration also involves applying the principles of lucid dreaming to waking life. In lucid dreams, you have learned that your beliefs and expectations shape your reality. In waking life, this principle also applies, though more subtly. Your beliefs and expectations shape how you perceive situations, how you respond to challenges, and what you believe is possible for you. By becoming more conscious of your beliefs and expectations, and by deliberately cultivating more empowering beliefs, you can shape your waking life similarly to how you shape your dreams. In lucid dreams, you have learned that you have agency and the capacity to influence your environment. You have learned that you can confront challenges directly, rather than avoiding them. You have learned that you have more control and more power than you might have believed. These lessons transfer to waking life. People who practice lucid dreaming often report that they become more proactive in their waking lives, more willing to take on challenges, more confident in their ability to influence their circumstances. Some people use lucid dreams specifically for problem solving. They bring a waking problem into their lucid dream and work with it in the dream state. They might visualize the problem, explore different solutions, or ask their dream characters for advice. Upon waking, they often find that the lucid dream has provided new perspectives or solutions that they can apply to the waking problem. This is not magical. It is simply that the dream state provides a different mode of thinking, one that is less constrained by habitual patterns and more open to novel solutions. Creativity is another area where lucid dreaming provides significant value. Artists, writers, musicians, and other creative people often use lucid dreams to explore creative projects. They might create art in lucid dreams, write stories, compose music, or develop ideas. While the creative work done in lucid dreams cannot be directly transferred to waking life, the ideas, insights, and inspiration developed in lucid dreams can be. Many famous creative works have been inspired by or developed through lucid dreams. The integration of lucid dreaming into your waking life also involves developing the same qualities of awareness and consciousness in waking life that you develop in lucid dreams. In lucid dreams, you learn to notice when something is unusual or impossible, and this noticing triggers lucidity. In waking life, you can develop the same quality of noticing, becoming more aware of your patterns, your assumptions, and your habitual ways of thinking. This increased awareness in waking life is valuable in itself, independent of lucid dreaming. Some people find that lucid dreaming leads them to philosophical or spiritual exploration. The experience of being conscious in multiple states, of recognizing that reality is more flexible than ordinary waking perception suggests, leads them to question fundamental assumptions about the nature of consciousness and reality. This philosophical exploration can be deeply enriching, leading to greater wisdom and deeper understanding. The deeper journey, advanced exploration. As you develop skill with lucid dreaming and become more comfortable navigating the dream realm, you have the opportunity to move beyond entertainment and adventure into deeper territories of exploration. These deeper territories involve shadow work, the exploration of less conscious aspects of your psyche. They involve seeking understanding of fundamental questions about consciousness, identity, and reality. They involve using lucid dreaming as a tool for personal transformation and spiritual development. Shadow work in lucid dreams involves deliberately encountering and engaging with aspects of yourself that you typically avoid or repress. These shadow aspects might include your anger, your jealousy, your shame, your fear, or other emotions that you judge as negative or unacceptable. In waking life, we often try to suppress these shadow aspects, pretending they do not exist or trying to eliminate them. But in lucid dreams, you can encounter them directly and work with them consciously. The practice of shadow work begins with recognizing that all aspects of yourself, even the ones you judge negatively, are part of your complete self. Anger, for instance, is not inherently bad. Anger is a response to boundary violation or injustice, and it can motivate you to take action to protect yourself or others. Jealousy, similarly, is not inherently bad. It can alert you to something you value and want to protect. Fear is not inherently bad. Fear can keep you safe and alert you to genuine danger. In a lucid dream, you can invite these shadow aspects to appear. You can have a conversation with your anger or your fear. You can ask what it is trying to protect or communicate. You can listen to what it has to say. This dialogue with your shadow aspects is not about eliminating them or winning a battle against them. It is about integration, about bringing these aspects back into conscious relationship with the rest of yourself. When you integrate your shadow aspects, you become more whole, more complete, and more balanced. Beyond shadow work, lucid dreaming can be used to explore fundamental questions about consciousness and reality. What is consciousness? What is the relationship between your individual consciousness and universal consciousness? What is the nature of identity? Are you fundamentally the same person you were as a child? Or have you become someone different? What is real? These questions cannot be answered through logical thinking alone, but they can be explored experientially through lucid dreaming. Some lucid dreamers report that in deep lucid dreams, the boundaries between self and other become blurred. They report experiencing a sense of connection with all things, a dissolution of the ordinary sense of individual identity into a more universal consciousness. They report insights into the nature of reality that feel profound and transformative. Whether these experiences represent genuine contact with higher states of consciousness or are generated entirely by the individual mind remains an open question. But what is clear is that they are meaningful and transformative for the people who experience them. The exploration of lucid dreaming can also lead to spontaneous experiences of states that are described in contemplative traditions as enlightenment, awakening, or liberation. These are states characterized by a dissolution of the sense of separate self, a direct perception of the fundamental nature of reality, and a profound sense of peace and wholeness. While these states are rare in lucid dreaming, they do occur, and they can be profoundly transformative. Advanced lucid dreamers sometimes report the ability to navigate between different dream worlds or to encounter other consciousness entities within the dream state. Whether these experiences represent contact with other minds or are generated by the individual dreamer's own mind is unclear. But the experiences themselves are reported consistently across cultures and traditions, suggesting that there is something genuine happening, even if we do not yet fully understand it. The deeper journey in lucid dreaming is not for everyone. Some people are content with the entertainment and adventure aspects of lucid dreaming. Others are drawn toward the deeper exploration. If you are drawn toward deeper exploration, the key is to approach it with an open mind and a willingness to question your assumptions about what is possible and what is real. The deeper journey can be challenging, but it can also be profoundly rewarding. Your nightly sanctuary, building a sustainable practice. The ultimate goal of lucid dreaming is not to have a few interesting experiences and then abandon the practice. Rather, it is to develop a sustainable, long-term practice that becomes an integral part of your life. Building this sustainable practice requires consistency, patience, and a genuine commitment to the exploration of your own consciousness. It requires developing systems and habits that support your lucid dreaming practice over months and years. The foundation of a sustainable lucid dreaming practice is consistency. You maintain your dream journal regularly, recording your dreams every morning without fail. This consistency serves multiple purposes. It trains your brain to remember dreams. It provides a record of your progress and patterns. It keeps you engaged with your dreams and your lucid dreaming practice, even on days when you do not experience lucid dreams. The dream journal becomes a sacred practice, a daily ritual that honors your commitment to exploring your own consciousness. In addition to dream journaling, a sustainable practice includes consistent reality checking throughout your waking day. This is not something you do for a few weeks and then abandon. It is something you integrate into your daily life as a permanent habit. You look at your hands multiple times per day. You question whether you are dreaming. You read text and check its stability. Over time, these reality checks become automatic. You do not think about them consciously. They are simply part of how you move through your day. A sustainable practice also includes regular intention-setting rituals before sleep. You might spend a few minutes before bed reading through your dream journal, reflecting on recent dreams and lucid dreams. You might set a clear intention for the night. You might visualize yourself becoming lucid. You might perform a specific physical gesture or ritual. These pre-sleep rituals take only a few minutes, but they significantly increase the likelihood of lucid dreams. Another element of sustainability is flexibility. You do not need to force lucid dreams every single night. Sometimes your brain needs more ordinary sleep. Sometimes you will go through periods where lucid dreams are frequent and other periods where they are rare. This natural ebb and flow is normal and healthy. Rather than becoming frustrated during periods of fewer lucid dreams, you can continue your practice with the understanding that lucid dreaming operates in cycles. Building a community of practice can also support sustainability. Connecting with other lucid dreamers, either in person or online, provides support, encouragement, and inspiration. Sharing experiences with others who understand lucid dreaming helps you feel less alone in your exploration. Learning from others' experiences accelerates your own learning. Discussing challenges and solutions with other lucid dreamers provides practical guidance. A sustainable practice also involves integrating lucid dreaming into your broader life. You do not compartmentalize lucid dreaming as something separate from your waking life. Rather, you recognize that the insights, capacities, and understanding you develop through lucid dreaming are meant to enhance and enrich your waking life. You apply what you learn. You let it transform you. You let it inform your choices and your relationships. As you develop your sustainable practice, you will likely find that your relationship with lucid dreaming evolves. What initially seems exciting and novel eventually becomes a natural part of your life. Your lucid dreams become more frequent and more stable. Your ability to maintain lucidity extends. Your ability to shape and navigate your lucid dreams deepens. What once required significant effort becomes increasingly automatic. You will also likely find that your overall relationship with sleep and dreams changes. Rather than seeing sleep as downtime, as lost time, as necessary but uninteresting, you begin to see it as an opportunity. Your nights become as important as your days. Your dreams become as valued as your waking experiences. You recognize that your waking life and your dream life are both part of your complete existence, and they are equally worthy of your attention and engagement. The practice of lucid dreaming, maintained consistently over time, often leads to significant personal transformation. People report becoming more confident, more creative, more emotionally resilient, and more connected to themselves and their deeper wisdom. They report feeling more alive, more awake, more present. They report a greater sense of agency and possibility in their lives. These transformations are not magical or instantaneous. They develop gradually through consistent practice and genuine engagement with the lucid dreaming process. As you continue your lucid dreaming practice, you will discover that your nightly sanctuary, the lucid dream realm that you have learned to navigate and explore, becomes increasingly rich and meaningful. It becomes a place where you can retreat for rest, for adventure, for healing, for learning, and for deep self-exploration. It becomes a laboratory for understanding yourself. It becomes a source of joy and wonder, and it becomes a powerful tool for personal growth and transformation. The journey of lucid dreaming is not a destination to be reached and completed. It is an ongoing exploration, a continuous unfolding of possibility. Each lucid dream teaches you something new about yourself and about the nature of consciousness. Each practice session deepens your skill. Each challenge overcome expands your capabilities. The practice is self-perpetuating, each success encouraging further exploration, each insight generating new questions to explore. You now possess the knowledge and the techniques to begin or deepen your lucid dreaming practice. You understand the science of sleep. You know how to recognize dreams. You know how to maintain consciousness through the transition into sleep. You know how to stabilize your lucid dreams and extend their duration. You know how to transform nightmares into adventures. You know how to explore the landscapes of your inner world. You know how to integrate your dream experiences into your waking life. Most importantly, you know that lucid dreaming is not a fantasy or an impossibility. It is a natural capacity of your mind, waiting for you to recognize it and engage with it. Tonight, as you prepare for sleep, you have the opportunity to begin or continue this remarkable journey. Set your intention clearly. Maintain your reality checks throughout the day. Keep your dream journal. Approach your practice with patience and consistency. Trust in the process, and know that somewhere in the night, in the dreams that unfold in your mind, you are the director of your own story, the architect of your own adventures, the explorer of your own infinite inner universe. Your nightly sanctuary awaits. Welcome home. Thank you for joining me on this extended journey through the landscape of lucid dreaming and the mysteries of consciousness. If this exploration has resonated with you, if these ideas and techniques have sparked your curiosity and your intention to develop your own lucid dreaming practice, I would deeply appreciate your support. Please give this video a like, signaling to others that this content is valuable. Please subscribe to the Relaxing Science channel to receive future explorations into the nature of consciousness, sleep, dreams, and the extraordinary capacities of the human mind. And please share in the comments below your own experiences with lucid dreaming, your questions, your intentions, or your location, and the current time where you are watching this. Your engagement creates a community of explorers, all of us venturing together into the night, all of us learning to become the directors of our own dreams. The practice of lucid dreaming is an invitation to transform your relationship with your own consciousness. It is an invitation to recognize that you are far more capable than you might have believed. It is an invitation to explore the deepest regions of your own mind. It is an invitation to become conscious, to become present, to become awake within your own life, both in the day and in the night. This invitation is always open. Your nightly sanctuary is always available, and the journey of exploration is always just beginning. Welcome to the world of lucid dreaming. Welcome to the adventure of conscious sleep. Welcome to the discovery of your own extraordinary mind.